The new era of Formula One started with a bang, as we saw Ferrari clean up in what was arguably one of the most dramatic opening races in a long time. And while it was a roller coaster ride for the rest of the grid, the prospect of another season-long epic title scrap excites us all. So let's take a look back at the weekend and see what we learned from the 2022 Bahrain Grand Prix. First up, Ferrari is back. After a rough couple of years battling among the midfield, Ferrari fans were eager for their team to return to winning ways. The Maranello team has been on its second longest winless streak in history, so the pressure was also immense. However, a strong showing in testing meant that a comeback was on the cards. And what a comeback it was! The Scuderia had the perfect weekend, sweeping both the pole position and the top two spots on the podium. It's been 15 years since Ferrari won a championship with Kimi Raikkonen, so the wait has been very, very long. Could this finally be the year of Scuderia? Are they finally fast enough to overcome both Red Bull and Mercedes? Well, the team boss, Mattia Binotto, tells us not to get carried away, as the F1 season is a long and winding road. Also, Ferrari fans have seen their team fumble the bag in the past from a similar position with Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso, so a bit of caution is understandable. With that said, the driver pairing of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz is probably the fastest on the grid, combining both experience and hunger. We saw that pace in action as well, with Leclerc pulling off a 200 IQ move by braking early and using DRS on the second straight to keep Max Verstappen at bay. And while Sainz did finish second behind his teammate, the fact that he was not overjoyed by his weekend means that he won't be conceding the fight anytime soon either. One thing is for sure though, the Ferrari hype train is real, and we're all aboard. Next, Red Bull continues to impress. Despite an unfortunate double DNF, which left them 44 points behind in the constructors' standings, the key takeaway for Red Bull from the first race is still positive. They have the pace to challenge for the title again. The Milton Keynes team only missed pole by the finest of margins, and Max Verstappen was able to battle Charles Leclerc for the lead. Having said that, there are still a few issues that the team needs to iron out, with the biggest one being reliability. During the race, the 2021 champion was already struggling with hydraulic steering issues before it all went wrong and his race came to an end. And even though some cheeky conspiracies have already popped up about the fuel pump vacuum issues that halted the team's race, it seems like they have figured things out for round two. So in a way, they've continued right from where they left off last season, ready to fight for the title again. Next, don't count Mercedes out yet. When Lewis Hamilton stumbled onto the podium after both Red Bulls DNF'd, it was considered a strong result for the seven-time world champion. That's because, for the first time in almost a decade, Mercedes looked to be on the back foot, and after 8 consecutive Constructors' Championships, it seems like their spell of domination is finally over. The new regulations have not been kind to the Silver Arrows, with their car feeling like a bouncy castle due to ground effect porpoising on the straights. This wasn't a new revelation though, as we'd known about their struggles since testing. However, while many may be quick to write Mercedes off as title challengers for the season, we shouldn't count them out yet. Mercedes boss Toto Wolff has already said that he's ready to get the chainsaw out to fix the car's issues. Furthermore, Formula One is a race to develop the car, and fortunes can turn around very quickly, so expect the Germans to show up with a big upgrade package soon. And of course, who doesn't want to see Hamilton and Max get their elbows out once again? And Haas no longer last. Being dead last on the grid with no hope of gaining any positions is an F1 team's nightmare scenario, and Haas, for the past few years, has been living that nightmare. With the team halting development of last year's car to focus on this year's though, there was bound to be some improvement. However, what they actually managed to deliver on track at Bahrain was truly remarkable. After having to drop their Russian title sponsor and its driver Nikita Mazepin, things looked ominous for Haas during the preseason. In comes good old K-Mag, who'd been dropped from the team in 2020, and without much running during testing, he still somehow managed to get the car to Q3 in qualifying for the first time since 2019. Not only that, but he also brought the team's best result in years by finishing in P5, a true fairy tale. Finishing 5th with Kevin Magnussen, who didn't even have an F1 seat a few weeks ago, is an astonishingly good result for them. And while Mick Schumacher didn't score any points in the race, just the fact that he has an experienced driver next to him now will help him grow a lot. We will miss Gunther Steiner's anger and fruity language and drive to survive if they continue to succeed though, but who knows? Maybe the man also swears when he's happy. Next up, McLaren's form is concerning. Let's not beat around the bush here. The McLarens were absolutely dreadful during the entire weekend. They were nowhere to be seen and almost got lapped twice during the race. The British team has taken so many steps back with the new regulations that it's almost baffling. It's not like they can quickly fix their issues and get back to winning form either, as most of the issues on their car seem inherently fundamental. Issues with brakes, overheating, and almost no insight into what's causing the issues, leaving them them in no man's land at the back of the grid. And despite having one of the best driver pairings on the grid with Ricciardo and Norris, with the latter signing a new 4-year contract, it looks like the team will have to endure a very long and painful campaign. Now, the impressive start from the rookie. When Alfa Romeo announced that rookie Guan Yu would be joining its driver lineup next to Valtteri Bottas, many people doubted his abilities, touting him as a pay driver. Not only that, many of those critics went even as far as to say that the F2 champion Oscar Piastri should have had a seat this season instead. However, despite so much pressure from the press, fans, and his country, Guan Yu Zhou has made an impressive start to his life in Formula One. He quickly managed to recover from a subpar P15 qualifying position and finished 10th, capping a debut point in the process. Even Pirelli doesn't fully understand its tires. The new regulations of Formula One are not limited to the cars only, as Pirelli has also brought in new tires for this season. These tires are meant to be more durable to reduce the chances of failures like Max Verstappen's Baku crash last year. Not only that, but the entire profile of the tires have been changed as well, with 18-inch tires becoming the new standard. With that said, even after ample testing during the offseason and preseason as well, it seems like neither the teams nor Pirelli themselves have fully grasped the capabilities of the new tires. And this uncertainty was pretty evident this weekend, as teams went for 3 stops rather than the 2 Pirelli had recommended. We also saw teams tinker with their strategies, trying out different compounds to gain an advantage. However, it soon became evident that these tires do not work very well out of the pits, with drivers like Lewis Hamilton essentially skating on ice for an entire lap after pitting. This is not a new issue though, as Pirelli has not had the greatest of track records as F1's tire manufacturer, but if we get to hear the classic "Bono, my tires are gone" dialogue on Lewis radio in a race, we're not gonna complain. Next, ground effect actually works as intended. The main reasoning behind the new Formula One regulations was to improve the quality of racing. Replacing the older aero philosophy, the ground effect promised much less dirty air leaving a car, which in turn reduced the downforce of the car behind. So in theory, it all sounded great. How did it work out in reality? The short answer is pretty well. While the ground effect does have some downsides to it like porpoising and slow cornering, the racing we saw at Bahrain was so much better than previous years. The cars were able to follow each other much easier, resulting in some great battles like the one between Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. And even though the effect of slipstream is reduced on the straights, the DRS more than makes up for it. So, the new era of Formula One has already managed to deliver on its promises, and we already cannot wait for the next race in Jeddah. That's a wrap for this video. Which team impressed you the most during the opening race weekend? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.